Can you make a lot of money while just doing art?
Young at art, young at art, young at art.
Welcome to Young at Art.
Irish singer and dancer.
Male.
Where?
I guess maybe somewhere around 40.
Hello. Morning, Luke.
Hello.
Hi!
Hi. Good morning, Zoe. I'm Toym Imao. What kind of profession I do as an artist?
Wow. I don't know, maybe like make masks? It looks like masks.
You're a smelter. No. A sculpture. A sculpturing, I think. You do sculpting.
Yes. Yeah, I'll help you out. I'm a sculptor.
Abdul-Marie Toym Imao Jr. is a Filipino visual artist whose notable contributions to Philippine art are in the fields of sculpture and painting. Born in 1968 to Abdul-Marie Asia Imao Sr., the national artist for sculpture in 2006, and Grace De Leon, an art connoisseur, Imao grew up with art in his blood.
Our art becomes our voice. Our art becomes our messenger of our own personal sentiments, of our own personal views. But it's basically what we do as artists is we're part of a society that expresses our ideas a little bit more different. Good. You got it right. I mean, that's the kind of work I do, and the sculptures at the back of me are some of the samples of work that I do. We do things in the round, or objects that you can go around. It's not just one vantage point as we speak, no? Yung mga nakikita mo, mga monuments, mga shrines, mga objects that you see in galleries, and we do public art. We call it public art because these are sculptures that they're made of metal that we put in public spaces in order for people to understand a particular hero, national hero. We try to image history not only in paintings but in sculptures in the round.
What was your most favorite sculpture that you did?
My dad was also an artist. No, he's also a sculptor. When I was 5 years old, I would always hang around his studio, and I will do stuff. And the very first sculpture that I made, he was able to take a really good picture of it. It's a very simple sculpture. It's just like a lump of clay. I punched holes, the nose, then the mouth, put some eyebrows, and it's even like just a stump. No matter how simple it is, it reminds me of that particular moment. It reminds me of my father who took that picture. It reminds me of how I was trying and struggling with the material. So anything you do, as long as you give your all into creating that particular object, I think that's the most important thing, And even the simplest sculpture that I've done, as compared to the biggest and the most extensive, the most expensive probably, would not compare to this simple sculpture that I did when I was 5 years old.
Can you make a lot of money while just doing art? Art?
Well, just to tell you a story, when I applied for college and my father found out that I was applying to an arts course, he discouraged me because he said it's going to be a hard working as an artist because it takes a lot of dedication. But yes, I mean, you can make money from art. It may not be too much, but as artists, it's not only what we call the motivating factor or the only reason why we go into the art.
How do you start making a sculpture painting?
Well, I start with basically an idea, something that catches my attention or a story that I want to work on. And then I do a draft or a sketch about it. And after I've done that, I start making probably prototypes, smaller versions, especially if it's a big work, And that's the fun of it. I mean, as you go along, you try to improve your ideas, you hone it, you work within your limitation, and try to come up with solutions in order to still tell your visual story. Have your teacher mentioned to you about baybayin?
I don't think so. I don't know what by buying.
Well, yeah, if you consider the alphabet as our letters
Yeah.
and numbers today, baybayin was our ancient alphabet. So what I'll do right now is I'll try to translate your name in baybayin. Would you want that so that you can see your word, how it would appear in the ancient text? This is how your name is spelled in baybayin. You see that?
Wow, bye bye. Nice.
Yes. So this letter in baybayin, it represents the Z and O. It sounds like SO also. So this is what SO mean. And E, this is letter E in baybayin. So I have your name. I've written it down. Can you see it?
Wow.
This is your name in baybayin. You do not have a direct translation of every letter into the baybayin text. You do it by syllables. So if you would name, we would translate your name, it would mean Lu, then Ke. Okay.
Wow. Whoa.
Very playful, very colorful.
The first one here, I'll say looks very interesting. To be honest, I don't really understand it, but I can feel this has some sort of this has a feeling of freedom somehow.
Nice. That's a good interpretation.
What advice can you give young artists like me?
Okay. I think you have to understand that art is nothing separate from, as Filipinos, no? Art is part of our culture. It is a part of us because it flows out from you. What is important is that whatever you decide to be, when you grow up, it doesn't matter what profession you choose, you can still do art, in your own way. I mean, you don't need to be like me na I've dedicated myself to just creating art. You can be anything you want when you grow up, and you can use the language of art to express yourself.
Thank you for the interview. I learned a lot.
Okay, I'm
And I
glad that
hope-
you did.
Yeah. And I hope we can see each other again.
Yes, hopefully in better times. I mean, maybe at one point we can, start going out. Then maybe you can visit one of my exhibitions in the future.
Thank you, Sir Toym.
Yes, thank you, Zoe. You remind me so much when my kids were still your age. I miss those times. So, and everything's just like the sense of wonderment and excitement about the world.
Thank you, Sir Tommy, for the interview. I learned a lot.
Yes. Okay, I'm
And I
glad that
hope,
you did.
yeah. And I hope we can see each other again.
Yes.